Hello, dear students. Today I am going to discuss the remaining part of the story, the Sutar and Papa. So, on the previous classes, we come to know that Peter Petrovich Milkin went to the house of the Mr. Kondaskin and he provides some reasons, and on the basis of that reasons, Mr. Kondaskin gives some idea and just try to solve the matter. That when he say that I am due to that I am unable to do marry her due to this kind of the problem. So Mr. Kondaskin tried to provide some solution, but the intention of the Peter Petrovich Milkin was different. By any way, Peter Petrovich Milkin wants to avoid the wedding. Now see what he say that when all those point whatever Peter Petrovich Milkin made in front of the Mr. Kondaskin, when all these particular plan was not successful, after that what he said? After that he said that. So he also said that, listen, I have not told you everything. Peter said that, don't force me to disclose what happens to be the secret of my life, a horrible secret. So Peter told him that don't try to force me to open the secret, a horrible secret. At a time, Mr. Kondaskin informed, I don't want to know your secrets. They are nothing. So Mr. Kondaskin informed him that I don't want to listen to any kind of the word from you. তোমাৰ পৰা মই একো শব্দ শুনিব নিবিচাৰো, তোমাৰ পৰা মই একো গোপন কথা শুনিব নিবিচাৰো, হেবিলাক একো নহয়। তেনেকৈ তেওঁ উৰাই দিছিলে কথাবিলাক। After that, what Peter said, oh no, they are not. Oh no, oh নহয় দিয়ক, তেনেকুৱা নহয়। They are not, হেবিলাক তেনেকুৱা নহয়। Kirill Trofimic. What is Kirill Trofimic? Kirill, generally in the Russian word, generally mean the master. But here, Kirill Trofimic means, Kirill Trofimic was one of the Russian lawmaker. Regarding some criminal, he made some law. But according to the Peter, whatever the law Kirill Trofimic made on the criminal, on the basis of that law, no one can capture me because I am more than that. I will not come under that particular law. My offense, my crime are more than that. Oh, তেনেকুৱা নহয় দে, সেইবিলাক নহয় দে, কিৰিল ট্ৰফিমিকৰ নিচিনা নহয়। মই যিবিলাক অপৰাধ কৰিছোঁ সেই অপৰাধবিলাক বহু ডাঙৰ। কিৰিল ট্ৰফিমিকৰ আইনৰ আধাৰতো মই হয়তো নাহিম, মোৰ অপৰাধবিলাক ইমানেই গুৰুতৰ। জাষ্ট লাইক টু চে ইন টু দেট ৱে, তেনেকৈ ইনফৰ্ম কৰিব চাইছে যে মোৰ অপৰাধবিলাক অলপ বেলেগ ধৰণৰ, বহু ডাঙৰ। Oh no, they are not Kirill Trofimic. If you hear, if you learn who I am, you'll be appalled. If you hear, যদি মই কওঁ আপুনি যদি শুনে, আপুনি যদি জানিব পায়, if you come to know that who I am, you will be shocked. I am a runaway convict. I am an escaped prisoner. মই পলাই অহা কয়দী। So, at a time when Peter Petrovich Milkin informed to Mr. Kondaskin into that way, what was the reactions of Mr. Kondaskin? Kondaskin recoiled from Milkin. Recoil means move back or generally jump. So Kondaskin recoiled, moved back from Peter Petrovich Milkin, as if stung. Stung means hard by sting. Jen kibai bindi disile. Hard by sting, and was petrified and was terrified. Jen kibai teok jen bindi disile. Aru teo khub bhoy khai goisile. Ei karone teo pishuai ahisile. He stood there for a moment, speechless. He was unable to utter any word. Motionless, he lost the motion, the movement. Staring, look fixedly at Milkin with eyes full of horrors. He looked fixedly at Milkin and his eyes full of horror. He was really shocked. Then he collapsed into an armchair and groaned. Collapse means fall or drop. Eneke puri joa, fall or drop in a state of unconsciousness and sense heruai pelaisile aru tenekwa dhorone teo sokit khopkoi pori goisile. And Milkin, staring at Milkin with eyes full of horror. Then he collapsed into an armchair and groaned and make deep sound. Sound of grief, sound of pain. After that, what he told? I never expected it. He bleated. Bleated generally means weak high voice. Now just try to understand weak high voice. Though he tried to speak loudly, but he was unable to speak that due to the extreme pain. So high voice, weak high voice, because he become weak. Whatever Peter say, when Koneskin comes to know all this, Koneskin become weak. Though he tried to speak loudly, but he was unable. He bleated, weak high voice. I never expected it. What snake have I been harboring? Harboring means place of shelter, sheltering. Asroidia. What snake have I been harboring in my bosom, in my heart? Generally, bosom means breast or chest. Here means heart. Kenekwa dhৰণৰ মানুহক মই মোৰ অন্তৰত স্থান দিছিলোঁ. So here, this means what snake have I been harboring in my bosom means to entertain a person who is ungrateful, who is not proper. এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ মানুহক স্থান দিয়া যি মানুহে তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কথাৰ বাবে বা তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কোনো ধৰণৰ যোগ্যতা নাথাকে, অকৃতজ্ঞ মানুহক মৰম দিয়া, আশ্ৰয় দিয়া, ভাল পোৱা. আমি যেনেকৈ ইন আছামিজ অলছো there is a idioms, এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কিছুমান কথা আছে. সাপক গাখীৰ খোৱা, সাপ পুহি ৰখা, তেনেকুৱা. What snake have I been harboring in my bosom? To entertain a person who is ungrateful. ইয়াৰে পাইটাৰক কৈছে যে মই তেনেকুৱা মানুহকে স্থান দিছিলোঁ, মই নিজৰ বুলি ভাবিছিলোঁ যি মানুহে মোৰ মৰমৰ যোগ্য নহয়, মোৰ বিশ্বাসৰ যিবিলাক যোগ্য নহয়. Go away, for God's sake, leave. He becomes very angry. Atori joa, go away. For God's sake, leave. On the name of the God, leave my place. I don't want to see you again. Oh, become very weak. Milkin pick up his hat. Milkin pick up, uthai loisile tupitu, wear his hat, rejoicing, enjoying in his victory, feels great joy due to his victory, made for the door, and he wants to leave the place through the door. Or as you come to know that Milkin, Peter Petrovich Milkin's mission is to avoid the wedding by any way. So at a time he realizes that this particular task really works. Good medicine, this medicine works. Eto ei okhot pale kaam korile ইমানখিনি কৈ আছিলোঁ মই প্ৰথমৰ পৰা অবষ্টিনেট পাৰ্চনছ অবষ্টিনেট ষ্টুপিড পাৰ্চন এই আকৰগুজ বুঢ়াজনে বাৰে বাৰে মোক আগুৱাই লৈ যায় বেলেগ কথাহে কয় এতিয়া ঠিক পৰিছে এতিয়াই ভাল মেডিচিন পৰিছে এতিয়াই ভাল হৈছে এতিয়া মই যাব পাৰিম ৰক্ষা like that kind of feeling he has. Melkin picked up his hat and rejoicing in his victory made for the door. At a time Mr. Condeskin said, "Wait," said Condeskin, stopping him. "Why have not you been arrested yet? Why haven't you been arrested yet?" Simple. Why no one is able to arrest you? কোনোই তোমাক কিয় এৰেষ্ট কৰিব সক্ষম হোৱা নাই তুমি কিয় এতিয়াও এৰেষ্ট হোৱা নাই So in a very confident way Paito say that I'm living under alias false name false identity I'm living under false identity false name I have false identity it won't be easy to arrest me in a very intelligent way he said that it won't be very easy to arrest me মোক arrest কৰা ইমান সহজ নহয় perhaps Mr. Condeskin informed perhaps you will live like that until you die and no one will even know who you are তেতিয়াহলে you will live like that until you die until you're dead you can continue your life into that way and no one will even know who you are and no one come to know you because as you mentioned that it won't be easy to arrest you so you can continue your life into that way wait you are an honest man now you really expose your honesty at this moment after all you repented means express sincere regret after all you repented ages ago you expressed the sincere regret your fault your shortcomings earlier God be with you so according to Condeskin those persons who expose their shortcoming and the fault are really honest because in our society no one would like to expose themselves as a false persons liars all like to be the great no one would like to expose their shortcomings but you expose it you inform me all of your problems so into that sense you are a great person because you express sincere regret earlier God be with you so be it always God be with you so you need to proceed Melkin broke out so you can understand the reactions of the Peter Petrovich Melkin broke out into sweat to sweat suddenly because of nervousness so what is the meaning of that sweat means generally fluid exits the body through pore আমি যে ঘামি যোৱা বুলি কওঁ through pore in the skin due to physical stress or high temperatures for the purpose of regulating body temperature and removing certain compound from the circulations that is called sweat so Melkin to sweat suddenly because of nervousness due to the extreme excitement you sweat to ghami goisile you can understand why because he was unable to fulfill his mission it was no use taking the deception further his realization is that it is no use it will be useless to try to cheat him for a long time into that way then the runaway convict as I told that I am a escape prisoners that particular thing also does not work so that kind of the persons I cannot befool him for a long time যে মই কৈছো যে মই এজন পলাই হওক কৈ দিম মই তেনেকৈ কৈও মই হাত সাৰি যাব নোৱাৰিলোঁ গতিকে এই মানুহজনক মই বেছি সময়লৈকে বুৰ্বক বনাব নোৱাৰোঁ and only one thing remains there is only one thing to flee ignominiously to run away ignominiously mean embarrassingly because the deed is so completely a failure because he was unable to create any result and due to that it will be better to leave the place without saying anything to leave the place embarrassingly without giving any reason they all logot jukti torko kori thaki somoy nosto korat koi in a very embarrassing way better to leave the place he was just about to dive through the door dive means to go quickly through the door when a thought flashed across his mind when a thought move or pass very quickly in his mind tetia loge loge ter monot ki hol eta cinta ahi gol keneko cinta ahile listen te ki koise listen you have not heard everything yet he said te koisile je apuni etiao মোৰ গোটেইবিলাক কথা মই সব কথা মোৰ কোৱা হোৱাই নাই যেখিনি মাত্ৰ কথাই নহয় মোৰ বহু কথা ক'ব লগা আছে there is a lot of things I would like to share with you I'm mad and marriage is forbidden to the mad and insane I'm mad and as you know that marriage is prohibited to the mentally ill or extremely foolish persons aru apuni jane biba pagol ba সম্পূৰ্ণ মূৰ্খ মানুহবিলাকৰ বাবে বা মানসিকভাৱে অসুস্থ ব্যক্তিবিলাকৰ বাবে নিষিদ্ধ at a time what Mr. Kondaskin told to him I don't believe it না মই তোমাক বিশ্বাস নকৰো madmen don't argue so logically mad persons or mentally imbalanced persons cannot provide the logic as the way you provide পাগল মানুহবিলাকে ইমান ধুনিয়াকে যুক্তি তৰ্ক কৰিব নোৱাৰে যুক্তিৰে কথা ক'ব নোৱাৰে লজিক্যালি কথা ক'ব নোৱাৰে what did Paita say then you don't understand if that's how you reasoned if that is your logic if you think into that way then you don't have any idea about the mad persons about the madman যদি আপোনাৰ তেনেকুৱা যুক্তি হয় তেতিয়াহলে আপুনি পাগল সম্পৰ্কে একো নাজানে don't you know that many madmen are only crazy for certain spells so they question is don't you have any idea that many mad persons are mad or showing their aggressive behavior for a certain period যে আপুনি নাজানে নেকি যে যিবিলাক মানুহ পাগল মানুহ তেওঁলোকে পাগল হয় আৰু এই পাগল হোৱাৰ এটা সময় আছে পিৰিয়ড আছে there is a particular period they become crazy mad show that kind of the aggressive behavior for a particular time but are no different from ordinary people in between but don't you have that kind of the idea কিন্তু এজন সাধাৰণ মানুহ আৰু এজন পাগলৰ বেলেগ সময়ত কোনো ধৰণৰ পাৰ্থক্য থাকে নেকি so that is a point he made but are no different but they are not different do you think that they are different from the ordinary people in between কিন্তু পাগল আৰু সাধাৰণ মানুহৰ মাজত সেই সময়খিনি বাদে কোনো ধৰণৰ পাৰ্থক্য থকা বুলি আপুনি ভাবে নেকি so I think this point is clear এটোই কৈছে তেওঁ যে mad or mentally imbalanced person has some period and into that particular period they show that aggressive behavior and they become mad for that particular period and after that there are no difference গটিকে এটা সময়ৰ বাবে তেওঁলোকে পাগল হয় সেই পিৰিয়ডটো এঘণ্টাৰো হ'ব পাৰে, দুঘণ্টাৰো হ'ব পাৰে, এদিনৰো হ'ব পাৰে, কিন্তু সেই পিৰিয়ডটো যোৱাৰ পিছত তেওঁলোকে সাধাৰণ মানুহৰ নিচিনাই থাকে, according to Peter Petrovich Milkin. At the time, what Mr. Kondratkin informed? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. মই এইবিলাক বিশ্বাস নকৰোঁ. Save your breath, save your energy. বন্ধ কৰা তোমাৰ কথা. Don't say anything. Peter, what Peter say? In that case, I'll bring you a certificate from a doctor. If you would like to say into that way, into that case, I would like to bring a certificate from a doctor. I'll believe the certificate, but not you. I'll believe the certificate, but not you. মই certificate ঠিক আছে, certificate খনক মই believe কৰিম, তোমাক মই believe নকৰোঁ. A fine madman, in the real sense of the term, you are mad. দেখো তুমি আচলতে সঁচাকৈ পাগলেই হৈছা যেন পাওঁ. Okay, the Peter say, I'll bring it to you in half an hour. Within half an hour, I will show you the certificate. So long. So long is a farewell remark. যে মই আহিলোঁ এনেকুৱা. So long, farewell remark. Okay. So after that, what Milkin did? Milkin snatched up his hat and hurriedly ran out. Snatch means quickly seize or quickly take up his hat to be to উঠাই লৈছিলে বা পিন্ধি লৈছিলে, and hurriedly and in hurry he ran out. 5 minutes later, he was already calling on his friends. Calling on. 5 minutes পিছত তেওঁ কি কৰিছিলে? He met his friend. তেওঁ বন্ধুজনক এজন বন্ধুক লগ কৰিছিলে, সাইকিয়াট্ৰিষ্ট বা ডক্টৰ ফেডুয়েভ. তেওঁৰ নাম আছিলে ডক্টৰ ফেডুয়েভ. But unfortunately, he caught him just when he was straightening his hair. To one who straight his hair, hair কিবা straight কৰি আছিলে, সেইখিনি সময়ত লগ পাইছিলে. Why it unfortunate? When he was straightening his hair, the doctor was straightening his hair after a tiff. Tiff means slight quarrel, সৰু সুৰা কাজিয়া, with his wife. After a slight quarrel with his wife, the doctor was straightening his hair. At that moment, he met his friend Dr. Fiduyev. Now, from this point, you just try to understand regarding his marriage life. তেওঁৰ বিবাহিত জীৱনত Dr. Fiduyev was happy or not? The answer is that Dr. Fiduyev also is not happy. And so, if ডক্টৰ নিজৰ জীৱনতো হয়তো সুখী নহয়, তেওঁ বিবাহৰ পিছত, সেইকাৰণে কৈছে তেওঁ বেয়া সময়ত লগ পাইছিলে. He met the doctor in a very bad time. In some other time, if he met him, then I think, I don't know, the situation will be different. But at that time, after the slight quarrel with his wife, he was doing something, this means he was straightening his hair. At that time he met. Now you can understand, the doctor will give the certificate or not, or what will be the comment of the doctor. The doctor jane certificate দিব নে নিদিয়ে, পাগল নহয় বুলি. আৰু তেওঁ পাগল হয় বুলি কিয় কৈছে? তেওঁ বিবাহক, he would like to avoid the marriage. Due to that, he want a certificate. But the question is that, will the doctor give him the certificate or not? Let's see. Okay. My friend, I have a favor to ask of you. My dear friends, in a very kind way, I want to inform you. He said to the doctor, the doctor জনক কৈছিলে, the fact is, they want me to get hitch. Hitch means marry. They would like to pressurize me to marry at all costs, by any way. যিকোনো প্ৰকাৰে মোক বিয়া পাতি দিব বিচাৰে. To avoid this calamity, to avoid this danger, to avoid this problem, I have decided to feign insanity. Feign means pretend, bhaujura. pretend insanity. Insanity means mental illness, mentally imbalanced state. মই এই বিপদৰ পৰা নিজকে বচাবৰ বাবে পাগলৰ ভাও জুৰিব লগা হৈছে. Hamlet's device. You may get a question on this. What do you mean by Hamlet device? Hamlet device. In Shakespeare's play Hamlet, in order to take revenge on Claudius for his father's murder, pretend madness. Claudius killed Hamlet's father and marry Hamlet's mother. That particular incident creates a lot of problem in the mind of the child. Hamlet বহুত সৰু আছিলে, সৰু ল'ৰা আছিলে, আৰু তেওঁৰ খুৰাকে যেতিয়া নিজৰ দেউতাকক হত্যা কৰি নিজৰ মাকক বিয়া কৰিছিলে, সেইটো এটা বহুত তেওঁক মানসিক অশান্তি দিছিলে. আৰু এজন ৰজাক যেহেতু ইমান সৰু ল'ৰা এজন হত্যা কৰিব নোৱাৰে, Hamlet planned to kill Claudius, and to kill Claudius he pretend madness. ইমানখিনি কথা ক'ব নাযাওঁ যে তেওঁ নিজৰ খুৰাকক হত্যা কৰিবৰ বাবে পাগলৰ ভূমিকা ল'ব লগা হৈছিলে, আৰু শেষত তেওঁ সেই যিটো মিছন আছিলে সেই মিছনত তেওঁ ছাকচেছফুল হৈছিলে. সেইকাৰণে ইয়াতে এইটো অনা হৈছে যে Hamlet device in after a fashion mean to some extent I want to use the strategy of Hamlet. গতিকে মই কিছু পৰিমাণে হেমলেটৰ কৌশল লৈ পিনে এই কামটো কৰিব বিচাৰিছোঁ, আৰু এই যিটো মোৰ মিছন আছে এই মিছনত মই সফল হ'ব বিচাৰিছোঁ. সেইকাৰণে কৈছে, to avoid this calamity I have decided to find insanity. Hamlet's device, Hamlet's strategy, Hamlet's tactics, Hamlet's skill to some extent, কিছু পৰিমাণে, after a fashion, to some extent. You can marry if you are mad. As you know, যে মোৰ বন্ধু তুমি জানা যে এজন পাগলে বিয়া কৰাব নোৱাৰে. Befriend and certify me insane. You are my friend and show your friendly attitude. Be a friend and certify me as a mentally imbalanced person. At the time, Dr. Fidere informed him, you don't want to get married. Ask the doctor, তুমি সঁচাকে বিয়া পাতিব নিবিচাৰা নেকি? Not for all the tea in China. It is an idiom. This means that not at any price. Not at any price. কোনো মূল্যৰ বিনিময়ত মই যিকোনো যি মূল্য দিয়া হোক লাগিলে মই বিয়া কৰাব নিবিচাৰোঁ. Not at any price. Not for all the tea in China means it's not mean that tea of the China. It means that not at any price. The last paragraph. Now see, just try to understand. So Paiter is successful or not, it will be clear. Now see. In that case, I refuse to certify you. If that is your reasons, if that is your case, into that case, I refuse to certify you. I would not like to give you the certificates. Said a doctor, straightening his hair. Okay? Anyone who does not want to get married is not crazy. Those persons who does not want to get married is not mentally imbalanced persons. On the contrary, on the other hand, he is very wise. তেনেকুৱা মানুহবিলাক খুব জ্ঞানী. অৰ্থাৎ যিবিলাক মানুহে বিয়া পাতিব নিবিচাৰে সেইবিলাক মানুহ আচলতে পাগল নহয়, সেইবিলাক মানুহ বহুত জ্ঞানী. But when you want to get married, but if at any time, if you have that kind of the desire into your mind, so if you want to marry, there will be some time you would like to marry. Well, that's the time to come to me. At the time you come to me for your certificate. At the time you come to me for the certificate, for mentally imbalanced certificate or insane certificate, or that you are mad, the certificate. then it will be obvious, it will be easily seen fact, it will be clear, it will be evident that you've gone stark, you move to the harsh part of the life. Steering, you direct it toward the madness. Your life moved to some other directions. You are directed to the harshness, to the very rough part of the life. You move to the hard stage of the life, very difficult stage of the life, mad state of the life, because that is the proper time to ask for the certificate. But at this stage, you are not that kind of the person. So this is the line by line analysis of the story, the Suitor and Papa. So a very simple story. So in this story, on the Suitor, as I told you, and the Papa, there's a conversations, and Suitor would like to resolve the matter, and so he would like to provide some of the logic. Mr. Kondaskin, a mature person, would like to give some idea to Peter. So, what do we learn? We learn that whatever we do, our planning, our activity need to be systematic. If our plannings are not systematic, into that case, we have to face a lot of problems. Because if you tell a lie, into that case you have to tell a lot of lie. To hide one lie, to hide one truth, you have to tell thousands of the lie. এটা সঁচা কথা লুকুৱাবৰ বাবে তুমি হাজাৰটা মিছা কথা ক'ব লগা হয়. So those persons who tell a lie, those persons who always like to hide the truth, is never feel confident. Those persons never like to make any planning. They are not systematic, they are not disciplined, they are not sincere. So through these particular lessons, because that is a problem of the common people, we the people always like to do as the way we like, but when the situation compelled to do something, whenever we are pressurized, we always like to avoid the situation. So that is an example. এইটো এটা সাধাৰণ ষ্টৰীৰ মাজেৰে এটা উদাহৰণ দিছে, কিন্তু এইটো কথা বুজোৱা হৈছে যে আমি পাইটাৰ পেট্ৰভিচ মিল্কিনৰ নিচিনা যদি আমি আগবাঢ়ো কোনো ধৰণৰ প্লেনিং নোহোৱাকৈ, our life also move into that way. We never be happy. To read the lesson by your own and also listen to the lectures, and regarding any kind of the problems if you have, you can make the question. As I told you, as far as possible, I try to provide the lectures in English, but if you have any doubt, okay, then you can make the questions. At the same time also, I also use the Assamese language, so I think you have no problem to understand the lesson. My dear students, one more thing, so you just try to understand the lesson, always like to be systematic, always like to be disciplined, never like to be the fighter one who always like to tell a lie, okay? And one more thing we need to learn from the lesson, a lot of things we can learn like that. We never like to run after the color or the taste, because as we come to know that in the youth we commit a lot of mistake, because we lost the judgment power. We never like to listen to the others, the seniors, because we think that I am right, I am correct, because I feel into that way it will be correct. So that kind of the judgment, because regarding any kind of the problem, we need to make a discussion, we need to have good planning, because planning makes you successful. So, my dear student, okay, so this is a lesson. I would not like to tell you a lot of things, so you just try to understand by your own, you just try to read it. And one more thing, the next class, Okay, I will discuss the question and the answers. You also study, you also the character study, go through the character study. You also see the vocabulary parts. In the vocabulary, like what is the meaning, you just try to find out in the box. Also in the box there are some, there are some idioms, so and phrases and idioms of the story, and in the box there are meanings, so you just try to find out the meaning from there. In the next also grammar part, also you just try to see the grammar part, and here also a lot of segment like speaking, writing, listening, and the last part study skills also. So there are some words, so you just try to find out the meaning. You can also take the help of the dictionary. So okay, so that is all about the lesson. Next class we discuss about all this. Okay, see you in the next class.